One of the things that we do here at Winthrop Harbor School District, and particularly North Prairie, is that all the students have a electronic student portfolio. We used to collect portfolios and put them in a folder, and then no one could ever see them because they were stuck in a folder somewhere. So by doing this electronically, it lets lots more people have access to it, and of course also gives you the skill of creating a website. Now, fair warning, this isn't going to be the most exciting website this time. We'll get to that'll be a little bit earlier, but we are all needing to create a student portfolio website. I'm going to back up for 1 second and say that when you have a Gmail account, and your school account is a Gmail account, even though it doesn't say gmail.com, it is managed by the school, but it is a Gmail account. So when you have a Gmail account, you get access to a ton of really cool things for free, sort of. We'll talk about that more later too. Of course, you have Gmail, you have your Drive where we're storing stuff, you have Calendar, Meet, which we've been using a whole lot lately, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Forms, all of those you may have used to some extent. Of course, Classroom we use all the time. And then you do have a YouTube account. Google, well, more specifically Alphabet, the parent company of Google, owns YouTube as well. And so you have an official YouTube account that you can add things to. Some of you have already done that, so you are a YouTuber already. And then you have a photo site, and then you have a thing called Sites, which is where we're going to create a website. So go ahead and click on that. And if you're watching this and also working at the same time, just open up a new tab and click on it, and we'll switch back and forth, okay? So if you have been in the Winthrop Harbor School District and have a student portfolio already started, it's gonna be listed down here somewhere. You're gonna wanna go ahead and click on it and open that up. But if you don't have one or you're a new student, we're going to go ahead and create a new one. And it's as simple as just clicking on the blank Start a New Site. Looks very familiar to when we use start a Google Doc or a slideshow, same kind of idea. Just click on the blank. And in a second, it is going to come up with our blank website. So this is our blank website. Now, again, I want this to be a boring website. The thing that's going to be exciting is the work that you do and post on it. So please don't change the fonts and the themes and all that stuff. Over here, later on, we will get into themes at another time. So you can obviously click on it and see there's lots of things that we can do. And there's tons of exciting, fun, creative things to do with websites. That's not what this is about. We are going to go simple and just stick with our same basic color. Okay, so please don't change that theme on here. We do need to change some things on this page though. So first off is we're going to change the page title. So let's just go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to start by putting in your first and last name and then the words student portfolio. Okay, so that is what we're going to title this first page, and we're not really going to do anything else with this first page. Some stuff will appear on it as we get going, but that's all we want to do on this first page. Your first and last name and the word student portfolio. We'll go ahead and center that a little bit. And so that is, our first web page. Now, up here where it says untitled site, you would think that we put in John Smith student portfolio. However, we're not going to do that. And this is where things start to get a little tricky with students, so please follow along. Up in here, I want to put in, to begin with, my 5 and 3, my 5-digit student ID and my 3 of my last name. So let's just say my ID was 26999, and then I'm Smith, so SMI. Then I'm going to put in a dash, and then student, and dash again, portfolio. Except for I need to spell it correctly. Okay, the reason we want to do this that's different here is this makes it much easier for us to find them if I go looking for a web page, but I don't know the web address. Because these are not like easily found through Google, I can't just like Google, hey, John Smith student portfolio. It's unlikely that I'm going to find that very easily. So I need to put this in here so if a teacher or somebody else is like, all right, I need to see their student portfolio, they can use this common convention, we call it, of putting in the address up here. So I could put that in. All right, so please make sure you've done that. Your 5-digit student ID, not the 2699, put in your student ID, 5 digits, your 3 letters, your last name, dash student dash portfolio. Okay. I'm going to put that in there and then hit enter. And then you'll see that that also appears right over here as well. Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what that means in a minute. Okay. So I've got my John Smith student portfolio. Great. At this point, this is called the editing screen for the website. I have not yet published this, so it's not actually a website yet. It is just simply something I'm editing a website. In order to make it a website, I need to go over here and I'm going to click on publish. And it comes up and says, okay, so this is going to be your web address. Again, this is why I need to be real specific on this. You'll see here that the actual web address down below is https://sites.google.com/sta.whsd1.org, which is all pretty familiar to us, right? We know about the STA. You guys are actually STU, but we listed as STA here, .whsd1.org/ and then right here is that same 26999 SMI-student-portfolio, okay? Ask below who can view the site. I think for you guys, you're only allowed to have it viewed by people in Winthrop Harbor. I don't think you have the ability to put it out there. I could make it public, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just click publish. And when I click publish, it now actually has created a website. This is not it, however. In order to actually see the website that I have created, I'm going to go up here and click the down arrow, and I'm going to view my published site. So this is the actual site that somebody would see if they were to go to 26999-SMI-student-portfolio, okay? You'll see that it doesn't look exactly the same as what I created. And you'll say, well, wait a minute, I didn't want student portfolio. You can see it goes John Smith student portfolio. Well, I really want student portfolio on the line below that. So I'm going to go, okay, well, I see what happened. I didn't put in an enter, okay? So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to click on enter. And now that means it's going to put that on a second line, okay? So I'll go back and say, okay, well, what does that look like now? Oh, wait a minute, it looks exactly the same. What's going on? This is my editing website, and I can do all kinds of work, and it won't change anything on what everybody else is seeing until I click publish. So editing, I can make all kinds of changes while my website is running somewhere else, and people are accessing it and doing all kinds of things and admiring my portfolio, while I can still be kind of working on it in the background. It's not until I hit publish, when I click publish, and here they actually show me what these look like. Okay, this is actually a new feature I didn't even know about. It's kind of cool. So this is like, okay, this is what it looks like. This is what, we put on our editing site, but this is what it actually looks like to people. And you can see that there isn't that space in there. You're like, well, I didn't really want the space. No, this is what I want it to look like. Okay, so I published it. Okay. And then when I go to this site, you're like, wait, it still doesn't look right, Mr. Brooks. Well, that's because it's still the old one. So if I refresh, boom, I finally get it right. So that does seem like a lot of steps, and people get very confused because they're like, well, I edited it and it's not showing up. Well, that's maybe because you didn't publish it, or maybe, you published it, but you didn't refresh the screen. Okay, so I know this is kind of a lot of steps in some of this, and it gets a little confusing. Now, let's say that I still didn't like something about this and I want to go back and keep working on it. I'm like, okay, well, wait, no, I can't work on it. That's because this is the published site. I can't work on it. So I need to come down here, and I've got this little edit this page. Now, no one else will see this little edit this page unless they are an editor of the web page. So this is not available, obviously, to anybody else in the world. They can't edit your page unless you let them. So I click on this little edit this page, and it takes me back to my editing site, okay? Which again, looks like I've got an extra space in there that I don't want, but that's not true. It is actually gonna be correct, okay? The other thing that I can look at under that publish is publish settings. It's gonna tell me a few things about it, okay? Most importantly, the web address. So if you already have a website published, a student portfolio website, this is where I need you to go and make sure that your published settings are correct, okay? So if you have a student portfolio website, you're gonna go show you one more time. I'm going to go here to publish. I want to go to publish settings. And then I want to make sure that my web address is correct. So again, my 5-digit student ID, 3 of my last name, --student-portfolio. If you set this up with me in the past, that's what it should say. But if somehow you missed out on those changes, please make those changes. And then you're going to hit save, down below when you've got those changes made. Okay. All right, so in our next lesson, we'll talk about how we're going to add some additional pages and make this a little more exciting.